And this is all of text, I know, but these are just some general tips that I'm going to give when it comes to dashboarding. When you're dashboarding or when you're creating a report and you have your dashboards, try to limit the number of worksheets in your dashboards, because not only with an increasing number of worksheets in your dashboard, not only you're firing several queries to the database, to the database or to the extract. Not only the query takes some time, also rendering can take up some time. So the difference between a dashboard with three worksheets will render faster than a dashboard with 20 worksheets. And then I'm talking only about rendering, not only about the query. And then of course that also depends on the level of detail you have in your dashboard. So if you have 3 worksheets with very granular data, then of course that will be slow anyway. But if you have the same granularity on the worksheets and you have one dashboard with 3 worksheets with the same granularity, and you have another dashboard with 20 worksheets with the same granularity as the one before, then the former will be more performance. So that's what I said. Within those worksheets, limiting the marks of your viz. So instead of having, let's say, profits, sales, the classic customer, with the customer here, but this the classic one, which you will probably have seen, adding ship mode here. Do we really need this kind of detail? And this is maybe a bit of a dull example, but if you don't really need the ship mode, then just use the customer name, and this provides less detail. Also, especially when we're talking about cross tabs and tables, don't try to add each and every detail in that worksheet, because this will also take a lot of time to render. Come back to that later with guided analytics, but make sure that you only bring in the necessary level of detail within your worksheet. Then yeah, it sounds maybe a bit confusing, but we reduce the number of filters. Filters is a very valuable asset of Tableau, and it works really really smoothly. But if you have 20 filters in your dashboards, and those filters are applied to all of the worksheets, that can become quite complex to in the query that is eventually fired at your database or at your data warehouse or at the extract, and can take up quite some time to query and to render. And also avoid quick filters, and instead of quick filters, use dashboard actions. I'll come back to that in a minute, but quick filters, you might have seen the icon which you see here. This is a quick filter. Instead of that, use dashboard actions instead of a quick filter. Use include instead of exclude, because exclude will start from the lowest granularity and will go up in aggregation, so it will aggregate a bit more. Use include instead of exclude when it comes to the level of detail filters. Then again, continuous filters are better than discrete date filters, and number or Boolean filters are better than string filters, like we've discussed before. And then, yeah, what I've said before as well, avoid using, not only in calculation, but also in just in general, don't use 5 data sources at once. And especially when you're going to filter throughout those data sources when blending, this can take up a lot of time as well. I'll show that. So what we discussed before, if we have a blended data source, instead of using this as a data source filter, so only applying to the sample superstore here, we could also apply this using all related data sources. And if you're using multiple blended data sources, this has impact on performance as well, definitely. Then lastly, and that's this is one of the the things that I think is really useful for the end user, the only relevant values option, and I personally use it a lot, but when you have performance issues, try to avoid this option, because the only relevant values option queries or fires a query to your database itself as well. So it's looking at what you have rendered in your dashboard or rendered in your view, and looks only for those relevant values in that filter, and that takes a lot of time as well. So when you have performance issues, try to avoid the only relevant values option. And then lastly on this slide, guide analytics is something I will dive into a bit deeper. Use fixed size dashboards, because automatic dashboards tend to render more slowly than fixed size dashboards, because fixed size dashboards can be cached as well and just render same for everyone, whereas automatic dashboards can differ from machine to machine, from screen to screen, from from iPad to a Surface tablet, for example. So use fixed size dashboards instead of automatic, and you will see that on Tableau server the performance will be slightly better